HOIL is back, boys. I mean, it never really went away, but it did receive a pretty massive nerf this season, so naturally a lot of people were thinking that it was going to be a trash exotic to use. But I honestly think the armor system we have now does a much better job at allowing any class to get decent ability regen. So even though HOIL was nerfed a good bit, the regen we get from Orbs of Power, our subclass verbs like Devour, and the brand new Void Leeches makes this build feel just as strong as before. In most of the gameplay, you're going to see the exact same loop prior to the Heart of Inmost Light nerf, and there is rarely a point where I'm fully out of abilities, just waiting for something to come back. The way the build is now working is that our grenades and our weapon kills are both going to be dropping Orbs of Power. These orbs will then give energy directly back to our abilities, and they will also give us armor charge along with Devour and volatile rounds. Devour, as people know, will give energy back to our grenade on kill. Additional mod fragments make our grenade energy return energy to our melee and class item, and the same exact thing happens when using our class item and our melee. Lastly, since the major nerf to Heart of Inmost Light was to our class item, we do also have this build set up so that we get a large chunk of it straight back whenever we actually use our barricade. You are also going to be able to tweak this build a good bit and still find it works pretty well. In this video, I do have it fully spec'd out for ability regen, but if you want to shift some mods around for something like contest mode in the new raid, it should still work pretty well. All in all, the build feels pretty unchanged. As always, if you guys do enjoy the full video and you want to see more builds on the channel, make sure to drop a like and sub down below. With that said, let's start off in the Void subclass first. First and foremost, I think Rally Barricade is a good addition to the build. I typically run Towering, but Rally has a 10-second faster cooldown, which helps with the nerf to HOIL. Shield Throw is just better in general for spamming, so I tend to use that. Bash would work in harder content, but I think the regen is more important here. And then I'm also kind of a super fan of scatter grenades, but run whatever you like best in the grenade slot because it doesn't make a difference. Controlled demolition is our first of two aspects. This is going to do two things. First, it allows us to chain volatile explosions where an enemy hit by the explosion also becomes volatile and can then spread to other enemies. Second to this, killing volatile enemies is going to grant us and nearby allies health. With this, I am also running Offensive Bulwark. The main thing this is going to do for us is give increased grenade regen whenever we have an overshield. While inside the Ward of Dawn, this is also going to work, but our throwing shield will also give us an overshield, which means by using that, it is also part of the way that we get our grenade back quicker. Fragment-wise, everything here is going to build into regen. Echo of Starvation is going to give us Devour on orb pickup or by even grabbing Void Breaches. Devour is then going to give us grenade energy on kill along with full health and full shields. Echo of Undermining is something I always use, which allows grenades to weaken enemies. This, if nothing else, is just going to be a solid 15% boost in our grenade damage. Echo of Provision is going to give us melee energy back on grenade damage. This comes in clutch for the full ability rotation as well. And then lastly, we have Echo of Cessation, which is brand new. With this, we get some bonuses to finishers, but the reason I have it on is because it does allow us to spawn in Void Breaches whenever we defeat a volatile target, and these breaches then give us class ability energy on pickup. When it comes to the mods I have on, everything I cover is going to be important for a specific reason, as it helps with at least one or even two abilities uptime. On my helmet, the only major thing is going to be Void Siphon. Since I am running a Void weapon, this will then generate orbs, and orbs give me ability energy from additional mods, Devour from my subclass, and volatile rounds from the artifact. Firepower ends up making orbs on grenade kills. I have this since we throw grenades the most of any ability. Bolstering Detonation then gives class ability energy back whenever we damage with grenades. And lastly, Grenade Kickstart is going to give grenade energy back as soon as we throw a grenade while charged. Heart of Inmost Light, aka HOIL, is my chest piece. This just has resist mods on, but naturally it's going to increase our ability regen for abilities by using other abilities. Moving on to my legs, I have on stacks to double the amount of charges we get. This just makes mods more effective because we have more stacks more constantly. Installation makes it so that we get class ability energy on orb pickup, and then Innervation does the exact same thing, but gives grenade energy. Lastly, Outreach and Bomber on my class item give grenade and melee energy back respectively when using my class ability. And then finally, Utility Kickstart gives class ability energy back when we use our class ability while charged. There's a bunch of moving parts in this build, but all in all, we're getting a metric ton of energy back from all the different mods we're running. Throwing our grenade gives energy, dealing grenade damage gives energy, using our class ability gives energy, getting kills with Devour gives energy, orb pickups and having an overshield also both give energy to abilities, and even our melee in turn will help replenish others. With all of this working for the build, it really does feel like the old HOIL setup, at least on Void, and I am also running Void weapon channeling, which I covered in my last video to increase Void weapon damage when we get kills, along with volatile flow for volatile rounds, which I also mentioned briefly. This setup is really strong, and I honestly think you could pull the exact same thing off on Solar as well. Let me know your thoughts on the build, and if you have been messing around with Heart of Inmost Light this season yourself. I do also stream a bunch over on my Twitch, where my team will be streaming our day 1 raid clear. A link to that and my Discord server are both in the description below. Anyways, that's all for this video. As always, have a good one, guys. Peace.